or something. I think this is wrong. I go, well, obviously, so I go, well, let's see, he goes, is this for the agency? And I go, no, but I don't know. I went in there and it's like minus 24,000. So obviously somebody clicked the wrong box or didn't click something. I don't see. Never fear, it'll get fixed. We'll give, oh, there we go, Jeremy.
Hey there, sorry.
Already, no, we're fine. It's only 9:02. We're all good. We're all good. So, share some good news with us. Everyone has to go around, share some good news and about your week. Like, I'm sure Devin and Nancy will have something from Pete. Love to hear that. Nancy, you want to go first?
My assistant started on Friday. I got back.
Hey.
So, good news. Yeah. Gonna keep me busy for sure. Busier. So, yeah. It was fun. It was a lot of information, a lot of stuff, and met a lot of people. So, fun times. Glad to be back though. Flying back was not so fun, but I got there.
Did you have some hiccups with your flights?
Yeah, but it worked out. Devin held the plane for me so I could get her on. I messaged it on Teams. I'm like, I'm gonna miss the flight, and so I'm gonna be renting another car and driving from San Francisco. It's looking like.
Oh no.
But it worked out. There was 8 people, so they waited for us.
Okay.
So it was just a little stressful that day.
So any good relationships with other agents that you made?
Yeah, my new besties from Alaska. I saved the day with
Who is that?
Bree, Turner, Andra, Holstrom, and I met Lou. There's 3 Alaskans, and their bags got lost on Sunday. They got there, but the bags didn't make it on the plane. So it was I felt really bad for them. I took them to Target, brushes and all the things. And then we tried to wait in Chicago for the bag, but then the flight got delayed that the bags were on. So they actually drove them to Bloomington the next day. So it was a little, but at least I rented a car, so that worked. That we weren't at the mercy of being in an Uber.
So that's great.
But, yeah.
And Amber was, I don't know if she mentioned this or they mentioned it, but she was the Rookie of the Year last year for the whole Western region.
Yeah, and she got All-American too. Yeah, she was great. Yeah, we talked about that.
It's a fantastic agent.
Yeah.
I don't know the other 2. I don't know Bree or Luke.
Bree started in November when I did, so we were the same. That's how we knew of each other from the training. And then I was going to meet her that first year, January 24 in Portland, and that's when we had the ice storm.
Oh no,
canceled. Yeah. She flew all the way there too, and then it got
Right.
canceled.
The last kid. Yes.
Yeah.
No, because they have to come in a day early.
Good.
Mm-hmm.
That was a crazy ice storm.
I know.
And we were down at Phoenix, Market 2. We were at Phoenix. We're like, what ice storm? What are they talking about? I don't think they've ever done that before, like canceled kickoff. Because that's a lot of work to put that together. So it has to be bad for them to cancel that.
Yeah, we were loading up, like I was gonna drive, and I had my suitcase in my car and was leaving, and Mark texted that morning, like, it just canceled it. So I just drove to the office with my suitcase. Let's go. That's sad. I was like, great, that's disappointing. We're all amped up to go. But hopefully this January, right, we're going again. So yeah, we'll try again. Hopefully it's better weather.
Well, you'll be happy to know, Nancy, that when I come out next week, I'm staying in Jacksonville.
Awesome.
Yes. What is that hotel? It's a wine something. Wine Inn.
Wine Country Inn on
Yes.
Street. Yeah.
Yes. I'm staying there.
Good.
Nancy kept telling me, okay, Chrissy, don't stay in Bedford, stay in Jacksonville. And it's the cutest little quaint hotel. So I'm like, that'll work.
go downtown and have stuff to do. There's coffee shops, restaurants.
Well, I scheduled our coaching session, the last one on Monday, so you can, let's go to dinner. Let's do something.
I'll show you around. Yeah, there's little wine bars. It's just the cutest place. It's great.
I'm excited to see. Yes. All right, who wants to go next? Good thing about last week.
Less production related, but still very important to my business. Finally started getting some of my like QuickBooks into it, like tax and payroll software and all that put together, because I have been putting it off, and it's a big project, but finally started to do that so that I am not underwater from April. But yeah, it signed up a couple households that I was having some defensible space issues with, so it was nice.
You got it through.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Yeah, everything I give it a 90 plus wildfire score, so I go through full underwriting every single time, but I think it's worth it because my name's starting to get that out there in my area as the person to go to when you can't find home insurance, so.
Yeah. So Jimmy,
Well, I had a interview and going to the next step for a new hire, so this will be a blessing in disguise. God knows I need all the help I can get. So
love it. And kudos to you, Jimmy, like you have as you were learning, you put together, like an employee handbook, let's just call it, right? Of different things, different processes, screenshots, what to know, I mean, all that stuff, so easily transition that into a training process with your employee. So, yeah, great job.
while I was going through it, I was like, and I don't want nobody to go through what I just went through and try to figure
Yeah.
out where the buttons and all of this stuff. And Nancy, thank you very much for sending me some of those links as well. So it was all in there.
Better.
I'm like teeter-tottering on there. So Jeremy and Devin, I'm waiting for you. Don't hold back. No, I'm kidding.
Motivation.
I know. I did see that. Yep. That was excellent. Yeah. God knows I've been down, coming from a martial arts, I got my butt kicked every day. You think I'm just getting mentally butt kicked in these new career, but it's like, okay, this is just going through, and I was like, man, if I could go through this and that, this is a different hard. We'll put it that way. But it is it's just trucking through, going through it.
Devin, what about you?
I'll have 2 more commercial policies closing before the end of the month. I just got confirmation on one and then sent the supplemental photos that they were after on the second one. And then I showed up on a Google search. I was happy about that. I got a phone call when I was at about Mr. Howard with 2 homes and starting to ask people, well, how'd you hear about me? Like, well, I typed in does insurance and I think Ashland and Brookings, and my information came up. So I'm pretty excited about that. It's just just something I don't have to chase. So it was nice, and I put the proposals together this weekend, sent them over to them, talked to them on Saturday, and so we'll see. I mean, one was a $2 million home, and the other one was like a $400,000 house over in Brookings. So I think he'd be good. Be good for me to sign, but no, I was really excited about that. I was happy to actually show up on the search engine. So
Yeah. Love it. No, and I like to hear about the commercial activity. We're behind in that area in our objectives. So anytime I hear, oh, to more commercial policies, yes, let's go. And that's just something that I've seen. Even last year I saw it when you're distracted with other property casualty, when that's not like, when there's a turmoil or just a whirlwind within a product line, that gets the attention, and it's kind of away from some of the other standard ones that our objectives are based on, which is commercial, so I saw that last year as well in Colorado. It was just like, all right, And it's the two that life and commercial that get distracted away from, when you're focusing on home and auto and the conversions and all of that, so. Anyway, what I will tell you guys, and this is just hey, you guys are special, so I'm gonna tell you. And it's kind of one of those things, keep it under your hat a little bit until we know if more information should come, but, they are looking at giving Oregon some special attention next year. All right, so we will be, a growth state for the company in 2026, which you could go down all sorts of different rabbit holes on what does that mean. All right, what I will tell you is it means, I guess, common sense would tell me if you're trying to buy some market share, what would that mean? Without me saying what it means, okay? You guys get it? All right. I have a little bit of rain relief, in Oregon, so, I say that, which means, well, Christine said we were gonna have lower rates next year. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying we're a growth state. And it's interesting because Carrie, I'll talk to Carrie, and Carrie's like, I don't know how this is all getting out, and, nothing's for sure, and we don't have all the, I's dotted and the T's crossed, and, all of that, and there was an email that came directly from Tim Harris, and it was to one of my agents, and I was CC'd, and he specifically stated that this is amazing because next year Oregon is a growth state for us, so. Anyway, yeah, I think I'll listen to Tim versus Gary. So that's all good. I say that only for some hope, right? For some, hey, let's get ready for this, to be ready with your staffing, to be ready with, all sorts of different opportunity. Okay, and I don't know specifics. I don't know what that looks like. I don't know if it's all lines of business. Like, I don't know anything. Okay, I don't want me in life. Like, life is pretty standard. Like, it's gonna be, PCO. But there's gonna be a lot more other things involved in that too, more marketing, more strategic marketing. When you say you're a growth state, you're dumping a ton of money into that state. And that's a great thing, for us. So.
Tim's partial to Oregon, because I'm here, he's a Oregon Ducks fan, and he joked about, I think he knows of a few really large books he wouldn't mind taking over. So he just in Oregon, so he could come back. So that might just have a special place in his heart for this state. It's how it is.
Well, this is where he started with country, was out here. So, and, one of his sons in, I think, oh gosh, where is it? Somewhere in Idaho. His other son is in downtown Portland, like, he's financial advisor for Prudential. And so, and I think his other son lives back in Bloomington with him, but, yeah, he's totally partial to Oregon. So, yeah, we got just some amazing agents out here. So I think doing this with Oregon is going, like, I'm telling you, my team, like, the more information I get, the more I'm like, all right, let's go. Like, we're gonna march forward, and we're gonna be, Cascades district is gonna lead the pack. All right, and that's the expectation. So anyway, I know, it's great to hear. I mean, if that doesn't, like, give you just a little bit of a boost into, all right, your wheels should start be turning right now on, okay, well, how can I, once you get more information, you'll know then, but really this is just all right, are you prepared to take this on? Like, what does that look like for you? So, and of course, more details will come, and more, direction on what that can look like. So. All right, Maxwell Daily Reader. Let's see what today's is. We're at the end of September. Goodness, September 29th. All right, today says share ideas. What is an idea word? Every product begins with an idea. Every service begins with an idea. Every business, every book, every new invention begins with an idea. Ideas are what make the world move forward. So when you give people an idea, you give them a great gift. So I just gave you guys an idea. What can this look like for you? One of the things I love about writing books is the process it takes me through. It usually starts with the concept that I'm anxious to teach. I get a few ideas down on paper, and then I call together a group of good creative thinkers that help me test the concept, brainstorm ideas, flesh out the outline. Every time we've done this, people have given me great ideas that I never would have come up on my own. I have to say I'm very grateful. One of the things I enjoy most about creative people is that they love ideas. They always seem to be having more coming. The more they give away, the more new ideas they have. Creativity and generosity feed each other. That's one of the reasons I'm never reluctant to share ideas with others. I'm convinced that I will run out of time long before I run out of ideas. It's better to give some away and contribute to another person's success than to have them lying dormant in me. Isn't that great? That's awesome. 25 Ways to Win with People is the book it comes from. The quote of the day, surround yourself with creative people and let their ideas inspire your own creativity. And I think that just goes for just our team as a whole. I hope that you all feel that you can, like, you don't keep, oh, this concept or this avenue that I'm doing this new in my business processes, and look how successful it is. You're just kind of keeping that to yourself. Like, I would hope that you would share that, like, especially with this group. Oh my gosh, you guys, here's an idea. I'm actually applying this and it's working, you know, like you would want to share that. And I agree with when he says, really what comes around goes around. Like, you think I'm not, that the more that you think your ideas, when you put them into practice, they're working, the more creative your brain becomes, you know. And I will say in this business, I don't know if you guys have heard this before, but there's very little original ideas in this business, right? Very little. I would say I've stolen, like, anything that I've done that have impressed you guys, just know it's probably not me. It's probably something I took from someone else. All right. And maybe just put a little bit of my own spin on it, but there's nothing totally new in this business other than AI. All right, I'll take that back. But really, like, for November, when we have our business planning sessions, those are going to be powered off of another district leader sharing with me the whole outline that she put together. And she specifically contacted me and said, hey, Christine, I'm doing this because it's my passion. Like, I would love to do this. As much as you love coaching your agents, I love putting together these programs and then presenting those to my agents. But she said, because I said, well, how can I help? You know, because I feel like I need to, you know, be involved and add some sort of help if she's going to share it with me, because she's doing all the work. She goes, I don't want you to do anything. I'm going to put it all together, and I'm just going to send you the email with all of the everything off of it. And it's off of a really good podcast with Ed Milet and another very strategically successful business owner. So, but she's doing all the work. I'm like, thank you. You know, I feel very blessed that you're sharing that with me, then I can share that with my team. But it's those type of people that, hey, if something's working and it's successful, why wouldn't we want to share that with the rest of our districts? You know, I think let's not keep it under wraps. Just like he said, it will die within me. Like, why? So anyway, if you guys, is there anything that you can think of, like, in the past that you have shared with someone else, and oh my gosh, it's been like life changing for that person?
That's how it was at peak. I mean, that's what I got most out of it, more so than even hearing from underwriters or hearing about claims, was talking to my fellow agents who are in the exact same boat I am. But yet, you know, some of us have been here 18 months, other people have been there, you know, 15 years. There was a lot of folks, and I don't know if they do that on purpose to best and more experienced people in the group. But that's the biggest takeaway. That was huge, and people were so open about sharing. And when we did the breakout sessions, you're like, oh, I didn't think to do that. No, this I'm going to take that idea back, and I just kept jotting things down. And I'd like to do that, you know, or this is how I do it. And people were so nice about sharing and not feeling, you know, like being selfish with a good idea. You know, you're borrowing these good ideas, and like you said, putting your spin on how I can use that and my, you know, with my way, with my personality. I don't know what I've shared with somebody, but I don't know to think about that.
It's great. Anyone else?
Well, I think sharing is just in general, everything from work experience, life experience, like all levels, fitness, spiritual, everything. I mean, the world, we all need each other. We can't do it alone. And, you know, I say it jokingly, like I was like Burger King. I had it my way when I had the gym. It was a king of the Whopper, so to speak. But it was like, you know what? I want to make sure that I don't want to be up here anymore. I want to rise. I want to bring people up with me and enjoy the journey. And the journey is the most frustrating, aggravating because I want it now. I'm impatient. The older I get, like gray hairs keep on coming. I can't stop them. I'm like, man, I just want it now. But just learning to this is part of everyone's journey in there. And like I told Jeremy, like, man, 26, dude, kudos to you. I'm excited for you. I was like, I need you to rub some of that skill set off to my son. And just my son, my daughters are set, but my son, like, it was just a different. Yeah, I was like, what the heck? I put in all this work on him, and I was like, thinking he would have been skyrocket, but I guess God's teaching me to have patience with him in a different format. But yeah, it's you know, I tell people in my life, like, this is how life goes around. There's gonna be people above you at the same level of you and below you, and it's a circle of life. Like, I'm shooting for Andy, I'm shooting for Jeremy, shooting for Nancy and Devin Stills on the commercial side. Like, every bits and parts, you guys have been marked in a good way. But also I'm like, okay, I gotta learn. My first day is not where they are at. And that comparison is challenging because we always want it sooner than later. So it's like the journey, but I'm also like, hey, look how far I've come in 4 months. I was like, holy moly, I'm still here. So through all that.
That leads,
Oh,
paralyzation, right?
Yep.
Unless you look at it and you say, all right, what is holding me back from, you know, and it's hard too, because all of you are in different locations, right? Jeremy, you're out in Sisters. Nancy, you're in Central Point. Devin, you're in Bedford, kind of Ashland area. Jimmy, you're in Bend. Like, you can't. So if you were, obviously, Jimmy, if you're sitting there and I hired somebody just the same time that you did, that was sitting in Bend, just as you are, had like the same demographic, then you could maybe, you know, it's maybe a
Oh.
comparison there. But, you know, I mean, if you're comparing yourself to anyone on this call, like, that's to be a point. You're have totally different demographics and totally different regional location, right? So the only thing you can do is maybe take a piece and say, okay, is anything holding me back? What are they doing that maybe I could, you know, implement, but am I holding myself back, you know, from anything?
Oh.
So that's the only thing. If you have you know, anything positive about comparison, because to me comparison is just a rabbit hole. It's just, but it's hard, right? It's one of those things that's constantly in your face because we're in sales, right? You say, well, Christine, then stop sending out those lists of how many, you know, life apps everyone has, and because it's a comparison. Like, who's on top, right? But mainly that the life app thing is for fun. That one's the fun thing that we're gonna have at our agency meeting. I keep saying agency, district meeting. And that's gonna be a fun game. So.
One thing I always look back is like, man, when I was training fighters or kids going into a wrestling tournament or whatever it may be, their first day compared to kids that's been doing this for years since they were in elementary school. I was like, okay, well, hey, the first thing I want you to do is like touch them. That way you get the butterflies out, whether it's a high five, whether it's a attack, and the other thing too that I told the kids that I'm just kind of repeating myself now is like, hey, when you're going out on that mat, it's only you and all your hard work and all the dedication that you did before. But now it's like, I believe in you, so borrow my belief in you. And I'm taking that from like Christine and all these other guys that are helping me out, Jeremy, Andy, like everybody's helping me a little bit. And I'm like, okay, they believe in me. Even Matt, I reached out to, and he was like, oh, going in here. And it was like, it's just borrowing other people's belief when the road gets hard. Because that's just been my fuel across the board on everything.
It's change the subject a little bit. I guess a piece of advice that I got, not necessarily when I gave out, but that I think about a lot, and I say this with one of my big takes in philosophy. I don't know if I'm statement you need to think about it more, but the phrase being pleasantly persistent and just like working that into all aspects of what you're doing, like pleasantly persistent. Don't be pushy, don't be opinionated, don't rush things, but keep at it, stay determined, and do it with a smile. Because if you do that to your clients, it's it's service work. We call it that for a reason, because you're giving service to these people, and your clients are gonna respect you. If they if it seems like you know what you're talking about, but they're gonna like you. And they need to respect you, but they also need to like you, because you can have somebody that you like. I mean, unless you're out here doing $20 million deals every day, but we're not. We're average folks. So for the most part, so I don't know. Pleasantly persistent.
And as a leader, when you're working with a team, you have staff. Getting on Thursday's Growing Leaders Call that's a good one. All right, when it talks about, just what you're saying, Jeremy, like being reactive, how to be just pleasant in how you react to things and prioritize and all of those things. So that's a good podcast. I'm sure that kind of speaks to that when you're staff. Anything else on that, as far as the sharing ideas and being creative and helping each other? Hope that's like second nature to our team. It should be. It's funny how I see that in other districts where it's not at all. It's stay off my turf, that type of thing. I don't see that in us. And if I did, it would definitely be addressed. Let's say it would be, taken care of immediately, but definitely be talked about. It's definitely beneficial to share, not just keep it all bottled up to yourself. We all want to, as a district, we want to be successful. All right. Well, what are some challenges that you guys are having that maybe we can talk through? Anything that comes to mind right now?
I have a question more for Devin. Since you're doing more commercial, what is the easiest commercial like business policy, or even anybody out there, Jeremy, Nancy, like I want to get into, I was thinking like chiropractors, because I've seen pretty much every one of them here in Bend to rehab my body. And it's time to like, hey, but I wanted to see if it was easy, because there's so much more on the business owner's policy. Like I'm having to rewrite this one policy that this guy let it lapse. And I'm like, and it's a window cleaning and it should be easy, but it's not as easy as all the steps, because my navigator kept on freezing. So I'm like, it deletes it. But I was wondering which area from you guys would you think would be the easiest to write from your experience, commercial wise?
Sorry. Oh, well, I just been citing kind of a mixed bag, and so I it's a little difficult for me to say what's the easiest. I think, some of the restaurant stuff has been a little difficult for me if they have live entertainment. That tends to bump it from Bob over to commercial, at least in my experience. So I thought that was a little difficult, and then I've been running into a couple commercial businesses that are having like a club type, like not dance club, but they're hosting several different types of events in one business space. So that's been a little difficult in order to quote, then running into Press Juice Company and nobody wants to sign that Press Juice. So I've been working with brokerage on that one, and they've gone through several carriers, and then I finally got one back. But yeah, and then the last two I signed were, I mean, the office building is pretty easy. I signed up an attorney's office, signed up their practice, and then also signed up the building. That was relatively easy. Did photographer studio that's over at the mall, and then I signed up pizza kitchen, and then I signed up a furniture store. That was pretty simple. I mean, you're just doing business, personal property, just kind of talking to the owner and getting to know their business. So I find that a lot of the coverages are built into that policy, and then I'm selecting platinum on everything that I can, just to make sure that they have upgraded coverage should something come up. But working with the commercial team has been, the Bob team has been nice. I mean, I plugged the information in the system, contact underwriting. Hey, my first time running this type of business through, I want to make sure that they're properly protected in the event something happens. So I like, and I feel like this all been the same. I think that some of the restaurants that have dancing and music makes it a little bit more difficult. But besides that, I found that the whole product is actually pretty easy, and a lot of those coverages are great. Just got to make sure it meets the lease requirements for what they're looking for. Is it a 1 million, 2 million? Is it a 2 million, 4? And just that price increase from a 1 to 2 or to 2 to 4 is minimal. So I'm offering the 2 to 4 on most of those policies just because I'm like, hey, for $50. Would you rather have another $1 million floating over the top than you have? But I think it's been pretty friendly. The underwriters have been good. So I mean, I think they've all been relatively easy with a few hiccups. That's just not our appetite for risk.
So
Just
you,
gotta have a conversation with them.
so a quick question for you. When you're, because I feel like I'm getting stumped all over the place. And then, do you just call it underwriting? Because I'm reaching out to some of the agents in here, but some of them don't do that specific. And I was like, well, I,
Oh, sorry,
Yep.
broke it out a little bit.
oh,
Um,
no, I was just, when you're getting stumped on anything, you just call underwriting directly as opposed to reaching out to other agents.
yeah,
Okay.
well, because I want the relationship with the underwriters.
Okay.
And yeah, I mean, I reach out to them. I mean, I do it to the best of my ability, but if there's something that I may be unsure about, or there's a coverage that maybe is a little bit unclear, then I'll reach out to them, and they're knowledgeable. They might not be able to give you answers from like a claim perspective, but as far as the coverages go, I feel like they've been really, really cool and easy to work with.
Okay. Thank you. Your turn, Jeremy.
Say too, I think Deb kind of hit the nail on the head there, but like I haven't done too much commercial since coming back to the country, but I used to, my dad, Andy, I was kind of his commercial guy back when I was down there in the Pine for about a year. That's what I focused on, was personal auto and commercial. And, the easiest stuff to write is that target market stuff. So like the Bob target market, like your small businesses, your micro businesses, your little retail, your mom and pops, like these things that have relatively low gross income compared to like, you can have a restaurant with C60, it's got really high gross income but really low profits because, razor thin margins, and it's kind of hard trying to be the one that gets the best price for like a large restaurant. But if you find like a small little barber shop find a small little law office, so like just these things that have relatively low overhead costs, so they don't have to, insurance for them is deal, that's definitely something where I found a lot of success at that, and, they're not always target market stuff, but like the little contractors, like your landscapers and your finish carpenters and, you know, those kind of folks, as long as they're not doing like crazy large commercial operations and they're not doing a bunch of digging or a bunch of really like, you know, big story work, you can find a lot of leeway with that because there's always a bunch of, you know, small contractors, small landscapers, that kind of thing that need insurance. And if you can figure out how to make sure you're doing like the Oregon CCP and the LCB, the Landscapers Contractor Board, like just make sure you're getting people their licenses and everything in place. Like if you could figure that out, if you can figure out how to make sure you're staying on top of helping these people keep their licenses in place, getting them bonded, getting them insured, if you can get set up through RLI and that kind of stuff for the bonds. That's always a goal of mine. And if you're willing to build a relationship with those people, because they hate doing insurance. It's like herding cats to get some of these contractor clients to come in, and it's like, dude, you just need to pay me $20 for your bond, or else all of your licensing falls apart. Please just give me a phone call for the $20. Like, come on, guy. So it's like that sometimes with them, but you can, they're usually pretty quick and easy to write. Once you get in the flow of it, it takes a little bit to kind of learn the difference between the inland marine coverages, the business commercial property coverages, and figuring out what goes where. But if you like dedicate a bit of time into figuring that out, I find that to be pretty lucrative because there's a million and one people do it, especially in an area with as much growth as Bend's. There's a million and one people doing these types of like small commercial contracting type operations. It's usually like a 1 or 2 man show. So, you know, that's something where I personally had a lot of success back when I was doing that.
Thank you.
Question, just to piggyback off of that, Jeremy, like where are you guys getting your list of contacts? If you're playing offense and you're going out and you want to contact all, you mentioned the different sites, the Oregon sites, right? How do you know where are you going to get a list of potential prospects?
I haven't done too much lead generation yet because I'll be honest with farmers pulling out of Sisters, State Farm pulling out of pockets of Sisters. I've been kind of just nonstop home insurance quotes, so I really haven't even thought too much about commercial since I've taken over the Sisters office. So I haven't really done any deep prospecting. I don't know about anybody else, but it's been mostly walk-in generation for me so far.
So I'm sharing my screen with you guys to give you and I'll forward this to you, right? So I think back in, when was this? In April, we had a Just Market One district leader meeting, and Kermit McClanahan, who is the district leader up in North Puget Sound, his team is excellent with commercial. And so he did this whole presentation on, you know, going to this CCB license search website and all of that. But you can put it in a ChatGPT prompt. All right, so here's the prompt to curate a list of businesses in your area that includes the data from the state license bureaus. And here's the prompt to put into ChatGPT. And it was amazing. He showed us, like on the screen, all the different, you got tons of information about these specific, current insurance and bond carrier, like everything that you would want to know about a company that you're reaching out to. So I will send this to you. And then he put up, also, I forgot to mention the system will give you the first 10 or so, only because of how the site's set up. The solution is simply to ask it for 10 more, and then 10 more, and exhaust the list of contractor types you're searching for.
Is there a process once it generates that information? Great, I get 15 businesses. How do I make sure that they're not currently insured with another country agent? I mean, I enter in the information, I enter in the phone numbers, and I try to find it, but I just didn't know if there's any quick, like, if I generate a list and I send it to somebody, be like, yeah, this guy is not a country client. Feel free to contact.
No, you have to do that, but you kind of have to scrub it yourself. So if I got 10, I would just type in the name of the company into Navigator and see if it comes up at all.
Right.
I mean, That's really, unless somebody has another idea.
I was like, if it gives you contact info, phone number search is typically gonna be a pretty good way to do it. And especially if it's just in Oregon, you can also usually cross-reference that, like it doesn't give your phone number to name the Secretary of State, Oregon Business Search. So if you go on, I think it's like sos.gov, business search, I can't remember exactly what the URL is. But you can type in the name of any business and it'll give you the contact info that they put in when they registered with the state. So if you can't find something like that, then you can plug that phone number into Search All Household Navigator. Because usually the phone number is something that's been put in there, the business phone number, if you do Search All Households. So
In the prompt, it says,
Yeah.
please also include current insurance. So,
With that, I come
How
in,
does it know that?
Jeff's not doing that.
it did, no,
No.
100%, 100%,
I would
it
like-
did it,
UCB license, look at,
Yes.
they'll tell you they're insured. with
Yes.
In the event you need to place a claim against them. So when you look up contractors by their license, it'll tell you who they're currently insured, bonded with.
that's the great thing about the prompt. It gives you all of that,
That's awesome.
I know,
Yeah, that's really, and so you go to, cause I pull up the business name search, cause I try to pull that for, just when I'm working with someone I'm actually proposing, I can see when the LLC was established, see who the owners and officers are, but there, it sounds like there's a separate website outside of that I would enter in for contact information or to find their current insurance carrier. Or are we talking about the same platform?
So there's the construction contractors board, and I'll be honest, I haven't done commercial insurance in a while, so I'm a bit rusty on this, but the construction contractors board for the state of Oregon has a lot of that info, and I think that's where
Yes.
the AI is pulling the search terms from.
yes, it is, so I forwarded you guys the prompt. So that is what you would just put into ChatGPT. And he did it live for us and we were just all, oh my gosh, that's crazy. And it gave you everything. I know that in Washington, the Department of Labor and Industries, that's another area that when I was up there, like you could go on there and it would tell you everything, like when you could X date it. I mean, it told me who they were insured with, who they were bonded with, like that's all public information.
Yeah. Like if you, like let's see here if I can get just the,
So while you work on that, Jeremy, is like, Jimmy, so you're asking, all right, if I have this prompt, in this one, what was the prompt? It was for what contracting?
so does anybody off the top of their head, like a buddy, decking or something, or like a contractor in the state of Oregon that I can look up? 'Cause
Yeah.
I'm-
Man Up Handyman Services.
Cool.
And
Is it Man Up?
yeah, Man Up. Well, good. Yeah. Yeah.
Man,
That is like a contract license, cause they're not, that's just,
Ooh, I'm gonna reach out to him and say, you better man up his licenses. Yeah, okay.
this random one, right? But so, let's see here. I will share my screen. Okay,
right, yeah.
there's everybody here. So if you're in the licensing search, right, and it's right here. So you can pull up the licensing search. You can get there from just their front page. And there's the licensing search, right? But pull it up. I tried to find something, but I just typed in handyman is where this was coming from, and I clicked on the first one that said act. Because it
Well,
almost.
there's one, pull up the sisters one on Buggy
Oh,
Whip,
yeah.
Three Sisters Handyman, active. Let's work one for you.
Okay. Pull that one up. And then see learn more. It'll show you like a very general front page, basically saying if they've had a bunch of claims, because you know, you might not necessarily want to contract to come do your roof if they've got $300,000 in claims in the last 2 years, right? But you can learn more about this business, and then I'll show you a lot of stuff. So they're with the Flat River Insurance Company, and they have $25,000 surety bond for residential. They don't do any commercial, or they don't have any commercial bonding. Next Insurance US company has $1 million general liability like that. You can see all of that kind of stuff. It'll have their phone number. It'll have the expiration date for their business. So if you're like, that's because this is all just publicly accessible information. So when the AI tool does it, this is where it's scraping it from. But you can also kind of look, it'd be really slow if you only search by name or by license number, but you can look stuff yourself as well.
Yeah, the prompt that I sent you guys when Carrie did that on his phone, within 5 seconds, had a list of 10 plumbers based on the prompt that he asked.
Christine, I think you mentioned that when you were doing like the initial interview process for me taking this role, and I kind of completely forgot.
Yeah.
But I remembered how I was like, that is game-changing. That's a really good.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna
So you guys could change it. I mean, go to our target market, Jimmy, and there's plumbers, electricians. You know, this is the CCB board, and you know, so it's contractors, right? If you were to do that, that's where you're gonna get your list of all of those. But I don't know, you could probably, I don't know enough about AI to know what other prompts you could change that to. Flower shops in the city of Bend. I mean, I don't know if it would take you somewhere that you would get all that information, but AI said game changer just from the little stuff that I've seen. It's absolutely overwhelming on how you can think differently and how can you take advantage of this technology for your business. So we just got one piece today, right? Devin, you'll have to let us know how that works for you.
Yeah.
In that space. I shared an idea, and it wasn't even mine.
They never are. Paying it forward, Mary was carrying, keep sharing. They're borrowed, they're not stolen, they're borrowed.
Well,
Like,
yes, so when I talked about Kirby McClanahan, like he has for years been one of the #1 agencies with commercial, because that's just his passion. He loves the commercial space, and I took his ideas and did in Colorado. I did a crushing commercial project, you know, and it worked for a little bit using the X-State platform and all of that. But you have to, again, it was a very distracting year last year when we did it, but it's all based on that the prospecting book, you know, by Ed Blunt, and he, I mean, implemented that in the commercial space, and it was just, he's had some great success in that. And this was just one of the ideas, right? On how you get a listing. He spent some time going through just what you did, Jeremy, going to the CCB website, so you can search and all that. And then Harry is all into ChatGPT, so he said, well, I'm gonna put it in ChatGPT, and literally within, like I said, 5 seconds, he got a list of at least 10 of those.
has anyone used Copilot? One of the agents was
Copilot's
saying
great
that,
too.
kind of the same.
Yeah, it is.
I have a bond to pick with Copilot, and this is really minor, but on my laptop, there's a Copilot button where write control should be, and I can't make it go back to write control for that reason. I basically refuse to use Copilot. I'll use anything else.
That's funny. So hilarious.
I want my write control back. Let me just open the window with one dang AI, and there's a button on my laptop.
I didn't even notice that. So you have
Where is that?
I know.
If you have the newer H1, it's Gillis Brooks, on right, you've got spacebar, right, alt, and then that weird punch button that used to be right control is the Copilot button.
Oh, I never even saw that.
Yeah, click that, it opens Copilot. I'm like, I want right control back, but, you know, his control key is now a pain in the butt. I do a lot of shortcuts, so.
Obviously, because I'm like,
Yeah, I clearly never used that button. Yes, I'm good with it.
oh, that's funny. All right. or anything that's been successful for you guys in the past couple weeks at all?
I guess I kind of wanted to ask, I know Devin and Nancy have been doing this for longer than Jimmy and I, if you've taken part in or had any success with like events as a lead generation. Jimmy and I were kind of talking about trying to find an event to maybe set up a board, and I know back when I used to work for Country, it's something the corporate would kind of help out with, helping get swag and stuff. I know we kind of have to do that all ourselves now, but we get the marketing 50% co-op, whatever. And I just didn't know if you had ever done that or had any success with lead generation for events like tabling a booth or something like that.
Really, the only thing that I worked on this calendar year was the rodeo, but that was more from corporate, you know, that they put the dollars in, so we didn't have to co-op anything. And I thought it would generate, I mean, I think it was more like branding and like getting the word out about Country, but I couldn't believe how many people I like spoke to at our booth were like, oh, I've already been Country. I was like, oh, who sure hates it? Like everyone knew who, I don't know, it's really cool, but it's not the best lead generation in my opinion, you know, for our time, but it was still like getting our name out, all that, being a sponsor. I know some other agents have done do the home show, or you know, I don't know if you have that event. I'm sure you do.
Yeah, back when it was kind of during like pandemic too, so everything was a little weird. But it was the Sportsman show that I did that. That was a pretty successful one, where it's just like a big vendor expo for like sporting goods, hunting goods. I don't know if they still do that. It was out in Redmond, but it was like kind of like that, because I know they're not always necessarily the best immediate lead generation, but it's kind of the getting the name out there, putting you in front of it kind of thing. So I just know. But you mentioned something that you didn't have to put money towards, the marketing kind of covered the costs of things.
Yeah, Christine would know better if that. You know, typically, I don't think that was just like the one they picked for us.
Section.
Yeah.
Just so, for example, like really the only one that you're gonna get free is anything that's strategic marketing. So right now on, what is it, Saturday, we have the relay that no one has signed up for. No one has taken that as far as and that's, I think it's up in Redmond area. So it's
Albion.
up in our, yeah. Albion, yes. And that's one of those things where on the strategic marketing side, I'm like, all right, I'm giving the information out. If anyone that wants to take advantage of that, then contact, like home office has the contact. So those are the ones that are gonna be free. They've already paid for sponsorship. They've already, like any of those offerings that come across, those are the ones to take advantage of. Just like last weekend, the Penn State game, you know, the whiteout, the viewing at the Duck Stadium. Like nobody from our agency did that. Nobody. It was just the Eugene, which I get it, right? It's a 2.5 hour drive, so on and so forth. But it's those things that, hey, maybe there was a COI that you could have taken up there with you. It was an amazing game. It was an awesome game. Not that you could predict that from the beginning, but it's just those experiences. So taking advantage of those that Country will pay for, it's going to be on the strategic marketing end. Everything else is completely up to you, you know. And the ones that I've heard of in the past, events that have been successful, like I always said when I was a consultant, I said, hey, think of venues where you would be expected to be there. All right. It's kind of hard when you're at where you can't make a connection on why an insurance company is there. Like, I'm here to do X, Y, Z. What do you have to do with this? So let me give you an example, like a wedding expo, right? Let's just use that as an example. You set up a table. Well, how can you connect a bride looking for different parts of the wedding? Why would she be interested in talking to you? Life insurance. She's wearing a wedding ring that needs to be, personally scheduled on her policy. Just things like that, where there's a connection there. Yeah, buying a home, like whatever that is. That one is where you probably will get some leads there because it makes sense for you to be there and they need you. So the home show, same thing. So the Sportsman, hey, have you scheduled your guns? Does your insurance company do that for you? you know, things like that, but, anyway, like if it was an amusement park, I'm just using that because it's like, no, they're not interested in talking to you, like, they're just not. They're there to have fun, you know?
Yeah.
So if you're gonna do an event, the most successful ones I've seen are when you can make that connection. You know, or it's maybe a chamber event or, you know, something like that where you can, it's just, hey, here's a bunch of businesses. It's kind of like a farmer's market. So. All right, well, and, you know, I think for Devin and Nancy, do you guys have access to a tent? Do you have access to that? I think there's Devin, there's one in Medford, isn't there?
Yeah. Have you guys joined chamber? Cause yeah, you just made me think of that idea, like greeters, like the Central Point Chamber. When I just went to the meeting, the week before last, they said, we're doing a boo thing for Halloween. It's, you know, all the businesses are giving out candy, but I'm not on the main drive. So they were like, we have this little area where the food vendors are. Any business that isn't on Pine Street can come and do a boo.
Oh, cool.
And you know, I don't know if that'll generate leads, but it's, you know what I mean? It's a Saturday before Halloween, actually.
So you can imagine families, right? Let's picture this, families with their kids walking through, they're coming by your booth to get candy. All right, so what's an idea of what you can do? So, and I don't know if this is, I'm totally thinking creatively outside the box. I did this when I was an agent in Las Vegas. We had in my, master plan community, it was called Providence, right up in the northwest corner of Vegas. And we had this promenade, which is, it was like a half a mile, right, of just a walking path. You know, it's called the promenade. And so the community had said, any businesses that want to set up, we're going to do a Halloween candy giveaway walk promenade. And so I was like, what can I sponsor? And because they had a photo booth available to sponsor. So I sponsored the photo booth and handed out water bottles with my name attached to it. The photo booth was amazing. I mean, I got so many leads from that because these parents were like, oh, that's, you know, I get a picture of my kid in their Halloween costume and you're going to take the picture for me. And I mean, it was great. So I don't know if that's available, Nancy, but those are just some things of,
Yeah.
right. How can I get,
like,
yes.
what people you
Because
give
that's like
them
everyone
to
else.
remember you.
Yes.
Yeah. You guys should do that. Everyone has Halloween. Everyone has that coming up. There's all kinds of carnivals and festivals where you can get a booth or something at your local park. A lot of them have that. I mean, there's gotta be something coming up in October that you could do. And sometimes it's because one day I think Halloween's is it not on I don't know. I don't know why they're doing it the Saturday before. It looks like
Tuesday.
yeah, let's do Tuesday and not
Is that
Friday.
right?
It's on Friday.
Friday. It's not Friday, come on. That must, maybe they don't want to do it November 1st, it'd be the day after.
Yeah.
I don't know, so I gotta try to put that together, but that's just an idea that you guys could do in October, you know, together. So people meet you, sure you do that, you know, I'm sure Sisters has something for Halloween.
I'm not sure, I'd have to check on like, they might have something on like the Parks and Rec website or the Chamber of Commerce website, so.
Just ask Chat GPT, I tell you. Sure, it
Right.
knows everything.
I always feel like these calls, like, all right, we're just gonna see how it goes, but they're always so valuable, you know, for encouragement or idea share, or hey, what are you guys thinking of? And yeah, so lots of takeaways today, right? Of how to, you know, take something and implement it into your business this week.
Definitely.
All right, I'm gonna let the rest of you go except for Nancy.
Thank
She's
you.
waiting on this call. She wants to help us with stuff, so. Have a
See you guys.
Thanks, everyone. Bye.
Bye.